The April 15th regular meeting of the Jackson County Library District Board is now called to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Susan Kiefer,
Present.
Patty Jensen,
Here.
Marta Terancy, present. Marissa Shepherd,
Here.
Kevin Keating.
Here. Okay, Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Shasta, Takelma, and Lagawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, as well as the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Oregon and the Modoc Nation, who were forced to relocate to Oklahoma. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where residents of Jackson County live today. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. Agenda amendments and approval. I would like to add an item. Well, first of all, Ginny has requested to move up her report on the foundation to before new business. And I would also like to add an item on the agenda under new business to start planning for a director search. So we should talk about whether we're going to use a search firm and what kind of a committee we might want and the timing and all of that. And since we've talked to a few folks and it seems like it's going to take at least 4 months to do this, we should make a start at least. So, let's see. To put a new item on the agenda, would somebody move that for me, or I can if you want to add an. I'll move to add an item under new business to begin discussion of the process for hiring a new library director.
I second that.
We need a vote.
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, aye. All right, so, and then we don't exactly have a committee yet, but at the executive session last week, Marta and Kevin got designated as point people to begin the review of policies under the HR Answers report, and Marta wants to begin a little report on what they're going to refer to the policy committee. I think that's it on the agenda.
Are you, sorry, just ask point of order, are you adding that under reports?
Yes,
Committee and board reports, because we have standing items.
yes, it's not technically a formal committee since we couldn't take action at the meeting, but it's not a really significant addition, I don't think. So, so then we need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Nobody, does anybody want anything removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. Have any of you signed up to speak today? No, since we're all staff. So, Ginny, Would you like to begin your report?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Sorry to not be there. My report's pretty straightforward. As usual, we've had a delightful month of amazing fundraisers. We reached our Library Giving Day goal. We met the match of $30,000. I had a delightful morning with our donor who presented that to us as an offer. And so congratulations to everybody who helped support Library Giving Day on April 1st. That will help us support the library further. Similarly, Dolly Parton Imagination Library has met its goal essentially. And so we're moving ahead with some other projects. I'm looking forward to telling you more about our Where's Dolly project in the coming weeks. And really excited about a marketing opportunity that came together with the JCLS marketing department. You all have had an ad placed at the airport for quite a while, but there's an opportunity for digital ads, which are already up at the airport, and we are sharing in that. We're sort of doing some cost sharing, so the foundation gets a little support that way, and the library gets a little support that way. So look for us on your next flight as you're in the Medford airport. The outreach committee of the foundation has done just a tremendous job with the Well-Read Book Club. They'll be out there at Comic-Con in May. And we have some I'm excited about some of the stuff they're going to be doing for Comic-Con, gathering impact stories about how the library is making a difference for folks. So some exciting stuff going on at the foundation. Thank you for continuing to support us.
Anybody have any questions for Ginny?
Thank you for your continued work on this. I know I owe you a couple of emails, Ginny. Congratulations on the increased exposure at the airport.
Thank you. Thanks. And I'll reach out if you want, if that's helpful. Or would it be?
I don't want to need to respond to, but an email from you is always welcome.
Okay, understood. Have a great evening. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, is that it?
Just our thanks, Ginny, to you and your whole board, and Beverly.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Ginny. I just realized that I blew past the proclamation related
Oh,
to
that's
National
right.
Library Week. So with your permission, I will back up one step and read the National Library Week proclamation so we can approve it. And so National Library Week is what, the week of April 26th, I think. Anyway, whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. Whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. Whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and grow. Whereas libraries partner with schools, business, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. Whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. Whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEAM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. Whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. Whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme Drawn to the Library. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Susan Kiefer, the Jackson County Library District Board President, I think is what it's supposed to say, proclaim April 29th to April 19th to 25th, 2026 as National Library Week. During this week, we encourage all residents to visit their library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library draws us together as a community. Now. Yeah, we can vote on that. We don't have to. We're just proclaiming it. So consider it proclaimed. We will return to the new business part of the agenda. The first item under new business is the resolution that Heather's bringing us to move money around.
Again,
More money around.
more money around. Still related to the same situation though, so this is just to allocate some from contingency to pay for Greg's contract for the remainder of this year. So it will be enough to cover April, May, June, plus a little bit of March, so.
All right. You wouldn't want to forget, huh?
So it's for $30,000 out of contingencies into our administrative services.
So, right.
This is Marta and I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution authorizing a budget transfer in the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Do we need a roll call? We do need a roll call. Can we have a roll call?
Susan Kiefer,
Yes.
Patty Jensen,
Yes.
Marta Terenzi,
Yes.
Marissa Shepherd,
yes,
and Kevin Key.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Heather and team.
Thank you. All right. Bryn. What's about money, more money?
Yeah. All right. So as part of the annual budget process, I conduct a study to determine the cost of living adjustment, otherwise known as the COLA. The COLA is an increase in wages to counteract inflation. Based on the board approved COLA methodology and using our comparable library systems recently identified by the data and analytics coordinator, I am recommending a fiscal year 2027 COLA of 2.5%. It should be noted that initial analysis of the collected data resulted in a 2.6 average COLA amongst our comparisons. To align with our total anticipated budgeted personnel costs, I lowered the recommendation to 2.5%, which is very close and has a slightly lower budget impact. Fair and competitive compensation is a pillar of Goal 4 in JCLS's strategic plan, Nurture the Library's Infrastructure. As an update to the cover memo presented to you, the noted fiscal impact was $375,000. After updating the personnel budget this week, Heather double checked the figures and found that there was an error in the original amount provided. It should be $270,000.
Well, that's, wow, that's a.
Welcome news, right?
That made Heather's day.
Good.
Formulas matter.
So 270.
270.
Thank you.
It should be noted that the district is currently in negotiations with SEIU. We have not yet negotiated the wages article, which would cover future COLA amounts. By the board adopting this today, it will assist with showing good faith that we are prioritizing staff who serve our communities.
Do we have a motion to approve this and then we can open discussion?
I so move that we agree to the COLA 2.5%.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the COLA at 2.5%. is there discussion? Discussion.
Yes.
Mark,
Thank you, Brain, for highlighting that this aligns with one of our goals. Thank you for performing the analysis. Thank you for catching the figures for this. I'm supportive of this. And am I correct in my understanding that the figure, once approved and budgeted for, will be the one that will be incorporated as perhaps a starting basis or will inform the contract negotiations?
That is correct.
Since that does not impact the timeline of the contract negotiations and supports that process with an updated figure, I'm in support of this.
any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need roll call on this one. I didn't. Oh, doesn't say so. All right. The motion, all opposed? The motion carries. We now have full amount. This help our union negotiate. All right, John. John got a request from a patron about an adult literacy program, which she forwarded to us before the last board meeting, actually, and I responded to this man and told him that we got his request too late to have it on the March agenda, but that we would put it on the April agenda, and here it is, but I think we'll just let Joan introduce this and we can see what we want to do.
Okay, so last year when Carrie Mae was going to the city council, she went to Central Point. She was approached by Mr. Whitaker about adult literacy and he's very passionate about it. She asked if I would follow up with him. And we did have a meeting in October of last year. And he shared with me his ideas and thoughts he had about adult literacy, improving it in the valley. And there's limited resources right now. So I informed him that we were going to start the strategic planning process and I would bring back the information he told me to Carrie Mae and we would talk about it. We kept each other in the loop, and after January, I invited him to the listening session in Central Point, which he attended and shared more of his passionate support for adult literacy. I then informed him about the strategic roadmap, that we were shifting gears a little bit. And that's where we've gone. And then he sent out the memo that I think he started a new company, a peer support group for adult literacy veterans. So that's where we are.
Right. I don't know where we want to go with this. It doesn't seem as though the board, other than perhaps directing staff to look at adult literacy. I mean, we've talked about adult literacy in the past, relatively recent past, actually, where we, I believe we sort of stated that we make a pretty large commitment and investment in early literacy, but that there hasn't really been an active adult literacy program across the county in a long time. And I don't know if we're prepared to start one or where we might want to go, but perhaps the best thing would be to refer this or to bring this up for consideration during the strategic planning process when we're doing it, or perhaps the programming group that looks at library programs would think about it and.
The outreach of it? The outreach program, you think?
Well, Kristen is our program director, so I assume she works with people that hook up programs.
She doesn't, I've also asked, community resources manager Thaddeus Cropper to look into other opportunities where we might have, some partnerships. And I think as we get into the strategic roadmap, we can explore that further.
So we can respond to this gentleman and tell him that while we don't have anything currently on offer, we will look at it as we move forward with our program planning. All right, yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to add that adult literacy. Also, for the years I served on the Palm Beach County Literacy Coalition in Florida. And I would be absolutely delighted to help in any way that I can.
I would like to compliment the effort of this community member, a well-informed memo collaborating with the library staff and leadership, participating in a listening session. That's the kind of engagement that I know inspires me. And also huge thanks to the Literacy Council of Jackson County. I knew an organization like that exists, but I never had interaction with them before. So if we can incorporate it next in there as well, that would be great.
Have you had any interaction with the Literacy Council recently?
No, this was my first
Yeah.
exposure to them.
Well, they may exist, but I don't think they're active, but, or at least the last time the library staff tried to find somebody to work with on literacy, they weren't.
Well, it sounds like there may have been a change in that because this person is the president of the Literacy Council of Jackson County now, so they are.
Oh, is he? Oh, all right,
Yes,
well.
which is good,
that's
which is
Well,
great
it-
collaboration there.
Kevin,
Yeah, thank you. I don't see why we would need to wait till the strategic planning process. Maybe we could just set up a meeting and see what kind of strategies he has in mind. And how we can help. Is there any reason to wait? I mean, I would be proposing this as part of our. Strategic plan going forward anyway. It was already on my agenda to do that, but. Is there any benefit to waiting?
We could.
Just to meet
definitely-
with them and-
Definitely have a conversation
Yeah.
with the admin team, definitely see what he has.
It is something we brought up in the past, and I don't recall how it. I mean, they haven't had a newsletter printed since 2020, so that could be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, they have not been active
Right.
for a long time, but if they are trying to get active,
We'd love
it
to
would
help.
seem to me that it would be appropriate for the library to participate in that if it makes sense. But that would be a staff thing.
Yep. No correction on my part, the letter about the agenda placement for the adult literacy program, it went to the president of the Literacy Council, and I saw that as a signature.
So,
Sure, yeah.
so hopefully we can let him know that we've brought it up and that we will see
Follow
what
up.
we can do in a follow-up.
Follow-up.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the new business. Unfinished business, Bryn, you're back up for a union report.
Susan? Oh, you had added the discussion about the,
Did that discussion and I neglected to write it down. Sorry, thank you. What I get. Not. All right, so. Frank has. Started a little research and he has talked to a couple, well, why don't you just report on what you've.
Okay, I've contacted, 3 recruitment firms for the next director, all highly reputable and skilled, and have a good track record of finding library directors, and 2 have sent proposals in and forwarded those to Susan. For those, and another one will be coming in tomorrow. And so those are out there. And then, the board, all 3 have indicated 5, 6 months, 4 months is the usual time span. So I know I just got here, but
But
may want to get moving on that and decide, do we want to use an outside recruiting firm or sell those kind of discussions. It's okay, it's weird.
I think we need to get a process started so this doesn't, just, we don't stumble along and all of a sudden go, oh, dude, we should have done something about this 3 months ago. So it seems to me that we need some sort of an ad hoc committee, I think. And perhaps we need 2 successive committees, I'm not sure. A committee to sort of set up the process, kind of identify whether we're going to. In addition to the 3 firms that Frank has talked to, I sent an email to Mary Kay Dahlgreen, who's at SDAO. And she suggested that we also talk to SDAO because they provide some search assistance for personnel for special districts. So we have several avenues of assistance. Mary Kay also suggested that it would be very unwise for us to embark on this effort without getting some outside help from somebody. So, I would just put this out there for some discussion about how you all think we ought to move forward.
I would be happy to volunteer to be on. That starts looking at process.
Go ahead.
I have a question, and I think it's a question for the council, and that is, and Frank, and that is whether we need to go through an RFP process before procuring services, or whether, since right now we are in stability with an interim director, we can no longer use the emergency procurement part of our statute. So can we please have a reminder on up to what amount do we not need a fee, and past which amount do we need a request for proposals that follows public procurement?
Are you talking about for hiring the search firm?
The recruitment consultants?
Okay, that's a great question. I'll double check and I'll get back to you on that if we need to.
And I mean, interrupt, but whether we need to or not, I think that's an excellent idea.
Which would be an excellent idea.
To do a request for proposal.
Well, if we don't. Well,
My question right now is whether we have to.
Right.
My preference would not be to have to, especially since upon being approached, consultancies are ready to submit their offers.
Right.
And an RFP, given my experience in public procurement, would definitely set us back from the timeline.
right.
We can still do it transparently and in a very cost benefit analysis process without going through the RFP, especially since Frank's initiative, which I really appreciate, showed us that when approached, they'll provide it.
We have 2 proposals here. We have another one coming, and we can talk to SDAO. Also,
Because
so
good.
perhaps we don't need a request for proposal.
I
Can confirm with the board tomorrow.
Unless- If we need one, that would be because we're a special district and.
Kelda might have more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we do. I think we can do solicitation on this, but
I think
I'll
so
let you know.
too, yeah, I'm not, I would wanna double check
Yeah.
too, but I think that because, there are certain types of exemptions
Yep.
for RFP processes, but you would wanna and also cost would play a factor as well. So depending on those 2 items, I think that getting multiple quotes and having a matrix for evaluation makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah,
but good to verify.
but yeah, so the rules are, complicated, so it's all, we always
Well,
go
we
look
get-
at them before we make
Yeah,
decisions,
yeah,
so we'll just start there. Yeah, I'll put that on my list to do tomorrow.
My eagerness for an RFP was not to elongate the process. But again, as we all know in our experience, when you have like three of them, you might go, well, I like this one, I like this one, so maybe we can, this one's the best, but we can bring that and that, put it all together, and you get an idea about pricing.
We certainly need somebody to review the proposals that we're getting, whether we
Right,
have a request for proposal. Or
but it's good to get a lot of different ideas.
And develop a matrix for how you're going. to
Yes,
balance
right,
it.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so that it's fair and they
Yeah.
can scored and then.
Yeah.
You have an answer.
Oh, perfect.
So pending verification from Jacqueline, let's, for purposes of moving forward on this discussion today, not worry about the request for proposal, but figure out how we get this process up and running. And I guess one of my questions would be, do we need like a two-stage committee process? Do we need a committee to sort of look at and what we need, like an RFP and a matrix and whatever else to get it started? And then figure out who should be on a committee to evaluate the applications, or how
Can
should
we
we
maybe
proceed?
delegate that to HR in order to find the process and then the matrix, for instance, or we can just have a committee to actually do the work. None of us are experts as far as I know.
You
Do
could
we-
also.
Do we have an interim director?
We don't. Director,
We could-
that part.
We could put Frank in charge of this part, I think, and you could solicit whatever help you want.
Right, there you go. Capable admin team, yes.
Does that
That
seem
works.
like a
Yeah.
good way to proceed?
There is a small constellation of firms that specialize in
Right.
finding library directors, and the two proposals we've got been remarkably similar.
Right.
Very
And
interesting.
um,
In all ways, like function, task, price, all of it?
Those, yeah,
yeah,
Are you gonna share?
so I think the,
I
committee
I did.
of directors, yeah, it'd be very good to be potential firms.
Pardon.
And I'm also a big fan of individual board members that have a desire to serve as a second set of eyes, if appropriate, on a particular document, to just volunteer themselves. I don't think we need to set up another committee.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
fine.
like our portfole of committees is good right now.
That's fine. I mostly just wanted to get this
Yeah.
ball rolling.
Thank you.
I thought we'd be in trouble. So is it, if there's been a question about whether, and the two proposals that we've got and the third one that's coming, it's okay if I share those with my fellow board members, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, when I have two, when I get the third one, I'll send them to each of you so that you can review them and see what you think. And I will check with SDAO, or perhaps you will check with SDAO and find out about what they will provide in the way of assistance. Great, all right, does that get us to a point where we can move on then?
And I'll just, so you know, I'll report to Frank after, on the process piece, so
Yeah,
we'll keep the process there and then he can pull you in when.
okay.
Yeah. I'd also like to give individual library board members the homework. If there's anything you think needs to be updated in the job description,
Yes,
start taking notes on that before we, in the future, will be handing it over to the selection search consultant, so that we're not doing it the week of job description being due to be submitted.
very good advice, I think, for us to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, or at least.
And you had sent that to all of us previously, right? We emailed it to us?
I'll make sure we all have it on top of our inboxes together with interim director, and I just saw a thumbs up for that from Marissa, and we'll make sure to compile them individually, and maybe we'll do like a study session where that feedback gets discussed and incorporated, so that we don't hit quorum by email. So individual notes for now, but you're ready to discuss it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I just wanted to get that off the ground a little bit so that we didn't get caught unprepared. All right, now Brent, I think we're ready.
All right, so union update. Our first negotiation date with SEIU was held at the Medford branch on April 7th. Introductions were made and the group's first task was negotiating ground rules. This took a majority of the day to settle on ground rules. But once we did, SEIU passed 5 articles to the district. And the district's negotiation team is now reviewing those articles. And we are working on some articles of our own that will be passed to SEIU the next time we meet, which will be on April 30th. We also decided on numerous dates for further negotiations moving forward in the upcoming months. That's about it. Any questions?
Who's on the negotiating team?
Yeah, so it is Frank, myself, Heather, Josh, and Joan.
Good.
Yeah. And then Lauren Klutney is our note taker.
All right,
What can you tell us about the ground rules?
They should have been very basic things. It just took a while. And some of the things that took a long time is deciding on how the union stewards who are staff members would be paid during the time that they're in negotiations. So there was some language that we discussed that was confusing to both parties, and it just took a while to go back and forth.
so what's the answer to that question?
Oh, yeah, so they don't get paid more than what their shift is. So if they're negotiating a full 8-hour day and they have a 5-hour shift, state law indicates that they only get paid for those 5 hours. So it was basically in the language.
So we continue to pay them for their participation in the committee,
For their shifts.
right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a very basic question that I just realized I
Yeah.
don't quite understand.
Yeah.
So the people on this committee are all administrative team? Yes?
Yes, on our note takers from HR.
So are managers part of the union?
No, they're not.
So when does the frontline staff become involved in this process? I'm not quite understanding how it's all.
When the managers or the frontline staff?
Well, the managers are involved now, but you're not gonna be part of the union, so when do the people that are gonna be part of the union become involved? Does that make sense?
So they're the union stewards and then they.
Oh, there's
poll-
already union stewards.
Yes, and they
Oh, okay.
poll their the staff members who are unit members
So
and
then-
ask them questions and give them feedback and then they bring forward articles.
Okay, so they're, the union stewards are negotiating with the other team.
Correct, yeah,
Got it.
and they're led by an
Okay.
individual from SEIU, so,
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
yeah, absolutely, yes.
Thank you for the update. When articles are passed to the other party, is there a timeline on when the receiving party must respond by, or is the next meeting date the generally understood?
Generally understood the next meeting date, yeah, for sure, yeah. Yep, and then we'll let you all know when we need to go in executive session and discuss things that impact budget or policy.
And is it still, I remember the presentation, the great presentation we got, I can't remember his name, but.
Mark Wilbur.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's instead of like, usually like 150-day process or something. Is that still looking like that's how it's
It
gonna
can
happen?
be that long. We have dates out till August. I don't know if we'll need them, but we
Okay.
do have dates that stretch out pretty
Okay.
far, so. We'll
And
see.
you're meeting how often?
We're trying to meet every 2 weeks is what we're trying to do. There was a few times due to schedules that it's a 3-week stretch or something, but we did our best to meet every 2 weeks.
Good.
Are the meetings typically during daytime working hours, or is
Yeah.
anything like on a Saturday in the evening?
No Saturdays, no evenings, they're weekday, daytime,
Great.
and 8 hours. It's a long day.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
so bring your bag lunch.
yes, for sure.
Well, thank you for your report. Thank you for you all for your service on this committee and, may the force be with you. All of us.
Thank you, Bryn.
Thank you. All right, we've already done the JCLF report, the director's report.
No, Ashley.
Oh. Golly, I can't even, where did Ashley? Oh, there, she's at the, well, services presentation that has published. Come to Ashley, we've been waiting for you for months. So,
Thank you for having me and
thank you for coming.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Ashley Johnson. I'm the Technical Services Manager. I've been in the job since 2017. I've been with JCLS since 2013. And I love my job. So I'm very happy to be here today and to share with you what is so great about technical services.
Why don't you start by saying what you do?
Well, let's
Or is
find
that-
out. I have some slides.
All right, that's it.
So I'm gonna say that the technical services role is the backbone of the library, and I say that thinking that the library is a body. Because the things that we are charged with in the department are literally the structure that is the underlying foundation of all the movement, all the fun things that happen within the library. Without the connection that technical services maintains and provides, the mission statement of connecting people with ideas, information, and each other would be very, very challenging for the library. So let's dig in and find out what we do.
Give me a second, I'm trying to find
Oh, sure.
the next button.
I guess I could offer to take the mouse.
Hold on, sorry.
Yep.
No, try that.
Let's
Get on the bottom. Typically, it'll show up on the bottom. There we go. I don't know what I did, but it's working.
Okay. All right, I can make it up as I go along. So the first thing we're charged with is the responsibility of the integrated library system, or ILS. So basically that's a big old fandangled word that we like to throw around that means that we have a very, very large database that has softwares in it that work together to do all the things the library needs it to do all the things that a library does. So there's a big database that holds cataloging records, acquisitions records, invoices, patron records, serial subscriptions, anything we can throw in there that's connected to library work. It holds it all, and there's an interface for the staff. There's an interface for the public, which we call the Online Public Access Catalog, or OPAC, which is what you probably see if you look up JCLS, do a search at home. And then there's all these modules in between that allow us to access these different pieces of information and pull reports on them and such. So we maintain and administer that software and all of its roles throughout the system. Can we go to the next slide, please? So that's a pretty good heavy software for a library. The library depends upon its ILS. And the average cost for an ILS subscription annually is somewhere in the $80,000 mark. That's pretty typical. I called the same comparative libraries that were on the list, like what Bryn did for the COLA, asked them. Yep, they're all using, what's the word I want? Proprietary systems like Polaris, Sierra, Mark, Carlex. They are locked down, and $80,000 is about what they're paying a year, sometimes higher. If they want a discovery layer to sit over that native online public access catalog, give it some more features, give it a little more usability for patrons, it's an additional $80,000. So it is very typical for just the ILS software and catalog to be about $160,000 a year for a library. We went open source, and let me tell you, it is the way to go. It is fabulous, and I will tell you why Koha works so well for JCLS. Number one, look at the cost difference. Open source is free. The software is free. There is no annual cost for the software. You get all the developments, all the bug fixes, anything that comes that's new, it's hot, the libraries want, you get it for free. It's free. But we do pay to be hosted and supported by a support company, and they're great. So we're paying, you're gonna have to have it like 25-ish a year?
Yeah.
It's about $25,000 a year for both. The discovery layer, the catalog, a test server, and the app, all we get for a fraction of what most libraries pay. So that alone is pretty impressive, I think. However, it's not like we're getting a subpar product for that. Open source is where it's at right now. People in the world who are in libraries, who are passionate and they want to serve their communities, they're coders. So they dig into the open source community, they get involved, and they are actively making Koha better for libraries, which isn't necessarily happening with these proprietary money-driven ILSs. So why is Koha so great? It's flexible, it's customizable for us, it's highly scalable. There's no restrictions or additional licenses for additional staff or access that we have to worry about. It's completely open to us. It's a global community-driven development model. So users worldwide contribute to Koha's continuous improvement. They add features, fix bugs, enhance security. And this means that Koha will remain cutting edge and reliable for our library. It's transparent, so we have full access to the source code, which means we can make sure that data privacy and security meets the standards that we want, which we know is important for libraries. And it encourages experimentation with whatever the emerging technologies are. So like we just added book blockers recently to our system. It was super easy to integrate the book blockers with our ILS. There wasn't fees. The company was very easy to work with. If we wanted to add other things in the future, like vending machines or self-check machines, things that we think would make customer service experience better, they're going to work with Koha, no problem. It's web-based, it's accessible, it's very user-friendly, easy to use, and it has advanced reporting and analytics, which you should have noticed because I know you get great reports from Regina all the time. She's pulling this data straight out of Koha, so it's pretty great. Yes, sir.
So is Koha the name of a nonprofit company, or is it a compilation of people?
Koha is the software. It's a community. It's a community in the world. Koha originated in New Zealand, so it's Maori language, and a Koha is a gift that is given to someone with the intent that you will take care of it.
Wow.
And so Koha was given to the world of libraries with the intent that we would take care of it. And so that is our goal, to make it a better product.
So why doesn't everybody use it?
It is the fastest rising star in the world of ILS, for sure.
Polaris
It's
and all
hitting
those
its
guys
stride.
are starting to feel nervous, are
A
they?
little bit, yeah, there's an annual by what's his name? Marshall Breeding, he's the official when it comes to ILS, and both Aspen and Koha are in the top two. And yeah, it's definitely a player.
Just history for board members who might not know, we switched from Polaris to Koha in
2021.
20, yeah, I was gonna say, not that long ago.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then did a big migration, and so, anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right,
Sorry.
all right. Next slide, please. All right, so one of the modules within the ILS that my department uses specifically is acquisitions. So this module takes bibliographic records, item records from the cataloging part. It pulls in budgets and funds that collection development helps manage. It has invoice files that are electronically sent to us, pulls it all together so that when collection development says, these are the titles we're gonna order. This is how many copies, this is the money we're gonna use to pay for it, and these are the branches we want it to go to when they arrive. They give us that list. And my team pulls that information together, creates an acquisitions order, and electronically sends it to a vendor. Now, the reason that's superior than other ways of ordering, I mean, we could just build an Amazon basket and have it arrive, right? But the second that that order is created within the ILS, the catalog records are in the catalog, which means that you at home can get super excited about the next James Patterson book that hasn't even been published yet, and we certainly don't have on the shelf, but you can put a hold on it right away.
Wow.
So it's very, very patron friendly. And yeah, it also creates that efficient flow. So as soon as the boxes are packed and ready to be shipped from our vendor, we get an email that says, here's the file. It has your final records, it has your invoices, it's gonna auto receive all the items in that shipment, so we don't have to do it by hand. And all of that happens automatically. So when the items come in, I can create a report that sends it to Heather's team, and Heather can make sure things get paid in a timely manner. And all of that is made possible because of ILS acquisitions. We are essentially a central department for our library system. So all the stuff comes to us in boxes, which is what we got our picture here. And we will open those boxes up, do some quality check, and they're ready to go. So get checked in and go straight to you because you put your hold on them.
Presents every day.
Presents every day. Sometimes more than we can handle. So how many orders are we talking about? There's just a little bit of data. So this is the history that I could pull from Cohos. Like you mentioned, we migrated in 2021. So in the 2022 fiscal year and forward so far, the bottom line in the chart there is the number of orders that were submitted, and the top curve is the number of items in those orders. So you can kind of see as our collection development department got going, got fully staffed and really got good at their job, started attacking initiatives like our nonfiction refresh, then the number of items in the shipments, the number of orders we were submitting increased. And so far, we're gonna be equal to or maybe even surpass last year. So we're doing pretty good. And these are just physical items. This is not digital, obviously, it's stuff that we're actually touching. All right, next slide, please. So cataloging, another thing that's very specific to my department. Nobody else catalogs in the system or uses the cataloging
That's
module.
scary looking on left.
I want you to meet Mark. Mark is machine readable cataloging. Basically, it's the code language that makes the catalog work. And so the majority of the things that we order from our vendor come with a record already, so we don't have to type them. But we do if it's something like a library of things item. They don't have ready-made records. If we're putting together a kit of some kind or a book club bag, we make records for those. If it's a local author and they want their book in the catalog, we absolutely will catalog it. So my team knows how to read Mark, and we put these things together. The whole point of cataloging is being able to take a physical item and describe it in such a way that somebody who's never seen it and is not touching the thing knows that that's the thing they want. Wow. So you'll see things like the description, 387 pages, it's 24 centimeters. The subject headings at the bottom all relate to what kind of content is in the book. The point here is not just to describe it, but to also make it as findable as possible. So we'll add as many subject headings as we can in the hopes that it connects the person with that piece of information that they're looking for. All right, next slide, please. Classification is also something that we do, which is slightly different than cataloging. Classification is Dewey, our other friend. So you're meeting Mark and Dewey. Classification, here we use the Dewey Decimal System. RCC, our partner, uses Library of Congress subject headings. It's just a system of organization. So here's a little tool. It's very tiny, so you can't really see it, but it's the hundreds, right? 0 through 9. 900 is history. And I can't even see it. It's so far down there. Then we have history of North America. And then we go down into the Great Basin and Pacific Coast, and then we go Oregon. So now we're in Oregon. So we're at 979.5. Then I can isolate that even further to Southern Oregon, 979.52. And then if we want Jackson County, it's 979.527. So everything on the shelf at 979.527 is all about Jackson County specifically. And so when we create a little label like these examples at the top, it's like a little map. So you see a little, you say, okay, where is it? It's in the local history section. It's at 979.527 on the shelf. And then we do author, first three letters, and the year it was published. To let you know, how old is that information? So gives you a little insight into the map of classification. Some things don't make sense to keep in Dewey. We could do the whole library in Dewey. We just have one very, very large nonfiction selection. Because fiction does fit into Dewey. There's an 800 section that's for literature, but that's not how people use fiction, right? They don't want to go by subject and find they want their author, they want their genre. So we pull those things out, we give them their own label with its own schedule of organization, its own classification system, and we have things like the CD collection, right? We pull all the CDs out. They're in the CD section. And we go by genre, pop rock, jazz, Spanish, Latin, I think it's Latin, and then the group or performer. So there's a lot of flexibility within cataloging that we are continuing to try and improve to meet the new century and the new generations where they are with how they use the collection. And so this is kind of, classification is kind of a fun thing we're playing with right now. But the goal is to help people find those pieces of information they want. Next slide. Processing is a term we throw around. Most of the things that we get are shelf ready, which means all the processing has been done for a small fee, which is very cost effective for us. But again, processing happens in house. Same thing, those specialized collections like Library of Things, they have a lot of unique bags or cases that only, are very special, unique to that item. Local history items, they get a special sticker. Things are done by local author cataloged in-house, we got to do all the processing ourselves. So when we say processing, or the catalog says your book that you're waiting for is in process, what it's saying is it's getting a barcode, it's getting a spine label, we're going to put a jacket on it, it's going to get a little extra book tape, new case, whatever, and then it's going to come to you. So it's so close to being ready for you to check out. That's in processing. Next slide, please. And then after all that is done and all the materials are here and they're ready to go, then our courier team kicks in. And the courier work has really evolved with the growth of the organization. I mean, under LS&S, the couriers came, they drove, they delivered, they went home, which is fine. And they still do that. But we have grown. And so the needs of their department have kind of expanded with them, and it's been kind of fun to watch. So now they're a shipping and receiving department, not just for Medford, but for most of the entire system. They receive facilities orders, they receive supply orders, they help with sending outreach materials to different branches. They are the Better World Books point of contact. So when we do a huge reading project, then the Better World Books take our withdrawals and they resell them. And we get a little bit of that back so that we can buy new books. So we will send usually about 2 pallets at a time. So that's 80 boxes of withdrawn materials. Couriers handle all that, the boxing, the stacking, the wrapping, the shipping, making sure it gets signed for that it was picked up. They also handle all the leased items that we're done with them now. They've, filled all the holds, the popularity has died and they're ready to go back to our leasing vendor. Well, the couriers handle that. They contact the vendor. They say, we've got, 150 books. They're ready to go. What do you want us to do with them? Get it all ready, get it picked up. They also handle book lockers now, right? So the lockers are on the route. They're very, very popular. The one in Ashland in particular is a huge success. So who knows how that goes in the future, but it's it's the courier's job to fill those holes, to do some troubleshooting, to get things where they need to go. They also now unbox and check in all of our new materials. So as our ordering has expanded, all the work has expanded, we needed more help. So now we have the couriers. They do the quality control. They check it all in. They work with my team to catch mistakes and get them fixed before they go out. Then they sort it all into bins and take it out. The other thing we've done, and this is a typo, our supplies order. We have an internal supply website called JCLS Supplies that launched, I think, almost 2 years ago now. I'm not so good with the time. But what that was we saw a need for a centralized spot for all the branch managers to be able to order operational supplies instead of everybody just going and trying to figure it out themselves. So now we have a centralized website where people go and build carts and they say, I need masks, I need hand sanitizer, I need receipt paper, I need bookmarks for marketing, I need whatever, standardized things we provide. The couriers get an email with that order in it. They go to the Mez here in the Medford building, they pull the items off the shelf, they put it in their courier delivery, and then it shows up at their branch the next day. So they're facilitating the operation and the needs of all the branches. So the couriers are awesome. If you haven't noticed, they are unsung heroes and they're part of the technical services world, that backbone of service that just lives within the body and you don't really think a lot about it, but it is a lot of the structure that helps.
And their hours have gone up a whole bunch. Sounds like.
Their hours well, we have 3 couriers now.
Well, I know, but
You,
they don't just deliver anymore.
yeah, they don't just deliver anymore. Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. So as if that's not enough, one thing that Lauren in collection development and I are always doing is looking at where do we improve? What did we miss? How can we be more efficient? And so this was Lauren's idea that I fully support, is we came up this last year with a roadmap that matched the strategic plan. So we took the strategic plan, we used it as a structure, and then we figured out where our departments aligned with that and what we could do. So the current roadmap has 3 main goals with lots of projects to support those. And we're focusing on adherence, strengthening the foundation, and community-centered collection management. So adherence is like, we notice that staff just have a hard time remembering or understanding why we ask them to do certain procedures or a certain way. So the example that I'm going to use is that our Better World books boxes, we have been asked to pack them in a very specific manner. Why? I mean, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Why are we asking you to do this? Well, they've asked us to, number one, and they're working with us. We want to adhere to what they want, but we also are going to stack them 40 in a pallet. So if you don't put enough books and but that box goes in the bottom, it crunches it, and then we got to slide, right? You don't know that when you're just packing a box in a library in Gold Hill, you're not thinking about all that. So we thought, let's figure out a way. How do we communicate this? So Lauren and I came up with a video series where we take these things and we're starting to show the branches. So here's just a little teaser of one of our episodes. Is that volume?
Episode.
Keep your speakers
Episode.
Just imagine your favorite song.
Yeah, there is music. So we have this little intro, what we do every time, where we say, hi, I'm Ashley, this is Lauren. Today we're talking about how to pack a Better World box. Has the same intro, the theme just changes. It's very, reliable. So we've done this. I've got 12, 15 episodes so far. This one in particular, everyone loved it. They thought, oh, that's why. Because they saw for the first time why in the world we would ask them to do this.
That's great.
So we're starting to use this concept in a few other things, like with the circulation committee. We're going to do it for some weeding training, things like that. We're trying to help people adhere to what we're asking them to do. The other thing is strengthening that foundation with just customer service training and training in general, empowering them like this, you are allowed to do this. Please read this book. So we're seeing some inroads there with those 2 goals. Another thing we're doing is we're sending out regular newsletters Mine's called Unboxed, because all we do is unbox things. Trying to just stay on top of and in communication with the frontline staff and don't make the back of the house so distant, you know, trying to be flexible. So coming next time, if you ever invite me back, which I would love to do again, I hope to sit here and tell you about what we have done with community-centered collection management. This is a achievable dream that Lauren and I have that relies heavily on Koha and some possibilities within some development options there with Koha to take the needs of a community, make that, honor that for the branch, include floating, include not floating, and still have it be part of a system. And automate it. It's a high lofty goal, but I really believe it can be done. And so over the next 2 years, we are going to write the book on community-centered collection management, and we hope to use.
So you won't be coming back with this in May?
Oh, no. I mean, I can talk again about it, but it won't be done. It won't be done. This is a 2-year roadmap.
So what's the floating and non-floating?
So currently our collection floats. It means that things don't really have a home branch. They won't always return to the same branch. If you have an anchored collection, the book will always return, even if you return it to a different branch, right? It always wants to go home to the assigned anchored branch. So years ago, JCLS was an anchored branch. Everything was always returned home. Things got really stale. And so they thought, well, let's float everything. And the idea with having everything float is it will naturally matriculate to the place where the interest is. So even though the book was, in Gold Hill, but if someone's doing a, quilting circle in Jacksonville, they request all the quilting books, they all go to Jacksonville. But the problem is now Jacksonville has all the quilting books. And Medford and Gold Hill don't have any. And so the problem is that then it creates a lot of manual work for collection development and the staff to analyze and say, okay, how do we redistribute? So we would like to take the pluses of all the models and eliminate all the minuses and create the perfect system. So we'll see how we do with that. But we think we can do it.
Floating collection after the district passed. I can't tell you when, but since I've been doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a really big deal when we went to a float. It was great. There may be problems with it, but it was a lot better than having a completely anchored collection. For us.
So so far there hasn't really been a third option. And so we're very excited to create the third option.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a long time. I'll start talking.
Yes. Thank you so much for the presentation. Am I correct in my assumption that when the facilities plan looked at the possibilities of changes or additions of space or features and amenities to help the centralized services do what they do better and happier, it was very much informed by the ILS needs. Did you drive that?
Are you talking about the idea, the master plan idea?
Yes,
of
yeah,
creating
the conversation about centralization, was that ILS needs driven or was it system-wide needs driven?
I think that's system-wide needs driven. Yeah, the building here is always, space is always a challenge.
You're right.
You have to go to the mezzanine.
Right.
Yeah,
The mezzanine supplies guys.
because certainly we're not. We might have the most moving pieces most of the time, but IT also has
That's
space
helpful.
needs,
Okay.
as does facilities. So it's definitely not just one department. Yeah.
Yes,
we're-
it's a yes and.
Yeah.
Wanted to keep bringing that up because that was a key need identified.
Yeah, I would say that's a system-wide need, and that the system would feel it. I mean, it would be obvious if that could happen, that would improve the system. Did that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
I have a couple of questions, if that's
All
okay.
right.
How many employees are part of tech services?
I supervise 7 employees, so I have 3 acquisition specialists that do the ordering, cataloging, classification. including ILL. That's part of our acquisition team. I have 3 couriers. And then we have a dedicated system administrator for our ILS and Aspen and a few other related programs.
Sure.
Oh,
How
and
many
my-
times are you getting 80 box or shipping 80 boxes out? Like,
Really?
Every 2 months, probably.
Yeah.
We have all of the bills of lading, so we can do analytics and get an exact amount.
But yeah, I would
you
say,
guys are getting rid of a lot of books. Pretty frequently, I guess. Do they go through Friends first, or do you check
Yep.
it through their?
all the way it worked is all the branches go to their friends first. Whatever is left gets boxed. If it's damaged, it goes to trash
Sure.
and then it comes back here, the couriers carry it. If there's value in it possible, then it goes to Better World Books. Couriers will facilitate the disposal of the trash and then pack the pallets and every couple
So,
months. they'll
Friends-
take it off.
Friends said, no, we don't want any more of these first, and Medford, for instance.
They kind of cherry pick, yeah. They pick what they want off the cart.
It's like after we get done with 97 copies of
Remarkably
Remarkably Bright Creature.
Those were leased.
Well,
The demand
well,
for.
we have
Yeah.
a variety of ways of providing
Yes.
97 copies.
Yeah.
Now, originally, people would donate books to the library and they were hoping that they would get into the collection. Does any of that happen now? And, I mean, I see a lot
Collection
of cost savings
development,
possible. Get donated books that are in good condition, like that.
not perhaps, but there's a lot of staff time involved in cataloging, processing and handling donations. It is not a free book by
And that
any
doesn't
means.
happen when you get it through the normal channel, I assume, that's all done for you?
It's done at a fraction of what it would cost to do it in-house.
And with library binding often.
Yes. Yeah, so, but yes, there are a few, we don't take donations in general, but there are a few areas I believe the collection development is making exceptions. Local authors certainly have their own consideration. Each selector evaluates the titles for the need of the community, and then those are handled in-house. And I believe sometimes things like library of things and or games, that could be its own. Donations might be okay there.
Sure, yeah.
But in general, just books, we are well supplied through our vendors.
Got time for a couple more? Lease items.
Your meeting.
What are lease items?
Least,
Yeah. I didn't
So-
know that we rent books or.
yeah, so for instance, you just said it.
Remarkably Bright.
Thank you. All the copies are leased, so that means that we pay a fee to borrow the book for as long as we need it.
Really?
And then when we're done, there's
Give
an
it back.
automated system to send it back.
That's cheaper than buying the license.
It's almost the same as far as purchasing the title, doesn't necessarily save us money on the purchasing end. But I don't gotta figure out what to do with 100 copies of Remarkably Bright Creatures when it's done. It goes back to the book vendor and then more life can be used out of those books because they're lightly used, so they go on to have more life. So it's kind of a responsible way for libraries to fill that demand for a short period of time. Instead of just like tossing.
Well, it relates to what you're asking. So if you had 100 copies, would you still like only send 98 back and keep 2 here or something?
That's completely based on collection developments, opinions, thoughts, and speciality or experience and demand.
Okay.
So if there's still demand, yeah, we can keep them for as long as we want.
It's a great book.
Well, and they're making a movie, so I don't think it's going away anytime soon, just because the program is over.
Last thing on the book lockers, you said the Ashland one's doing great, the Shady Cove, not so much, and how much extra per year time does that add? Should we do more of it, or what? Sure.
So it's not, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. It's not a huge impact to courier workflow. It's been a light absorb. It's one more stop. And then we're talking 5 to 10 minutes to fill, you scan the item, thing pops open, they put it in. So there's not a lot of time spent there. The one in Shitty Cove is not highly used. There's a couple items, maybe 5 to 10 items a week, so it's not a lot. The Ashland Locker, every day it's full.
Wow.
And then the book drop there is also very popular. And that also has been absorbed very easily into the courier workflow. So they take the book drop, they put it in a special bin, mark returns, and then they drop it off at Ashland, which is the next stop on the route. So not a heavy hit to the courier workload, but the impact for the community has been pretty good. I would love to see more. That's just my first thought. Take that with a grain of salt. I would love to see them. I think they're fabulous. And I
Really
think we could,
interesting that I thought Shady Cove would be a really good thing.
I think people use the library there.
Better, we put it in Eagle Point where there's, anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
But I do think there's
But-
definite potential with the lockers without a
Yeah.
lot of lift on our side, on the maintenance part of it. Yeah. All right, I have got to stop talking. Thank you for having us.
Everybody got their questions out?
Thank you, Ashley. Thank
You can email me, I'll still.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Very helpful, I'm sure. See, I actually started my life in technical services. So not everyone know that.
Like born there or professional?
We're under a cattle.
Anyway, thank you very much. That was great. Now, I think we are ready for the director's report.
That's good. It's a privilege to give the director's report. There's so many people on the staff do an incredible job of capturing all of the wonderful stuff that's going on and assembling this report for you. Full of graphs and photos and nice accounts of the programs, but I was struck by the National Library Week. There were 9 whereas, all laudable things that libraries are doing in society. And when you look at that proclamation and you look at the director's report, JCLS is doing it all. And again, you know, I was at the first meeting, Kelda said, you can't possibly go over. I'm not gonna read the entirety of this to you. I'll just cherry pick a few that really struck me. Is the range of programs that is really quite remarkable, from the Ukrainian-born concert pianist Irina Kudalina playing here to the Road Reads. That's 1,500 people engaging. It was like a huge community-wide book club. It's phenomenal. Out in Jacksonville, given the 250th anniversary of the country, the civics instruction, having Mr. Kronemeyer and Professor Chingeri, 2 quite good speakers. It's a wonderful thing for the community. The early childhood reading programs, Butte Falls and at Hillside, were something near and dear to my heart. Just a wonderful thing the library is putting forth. Moving up, the teen terrarium program is that go visiting branches, and the librarians just want more and more people in the library, and it's the teens are ours to get it, you know, and it's tough to engage, but that was a great idea program to bring some teens into the library. Moving all the way up to the Access Senior Fair at Rogue X with 2,500 attendees, and our staff there who led seniors, they'll do a wonderful range of services the library opens. So again, the full report is just, it's kind of overwhelming. I mean, it's really a remarkable range of high quality programming going on, and all aligned with the strategic plan as well. So,
Good
firing
stuff.
all cylinders. Yeah.
Good stuff, you guys.
Questions for the report?
Yeah, I've got a question. I think it's really great, the individual efforts that the libraries usually do for the 4th of July. Like Jacksonville, and then I know Eagle Point usually does something. I was just wondering if there was gonna be like a more branch-wide effort, since it's 250, so kind of a big year.
It's a good idea to ask in April or before July.
We did actually.
Hmm?
We did ask about that.
Okay.
So I mean, I would like to encourage us to do more if it's still time. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, we're used there, yeah.
No, I say that one thing, been strong is, creating system-wide, 250 programs, so it's in the planning process, there's lots of remarkable.
Yeah, so the summer event is coming out soon, and that's where a lot of those programs are gonna start to kind of take some of that life. And then on the marketing side, I know our team is working very closely with Bristol to market out a lot of those American 250 programs as well, so.
That'd be great.
We've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yep,
Good.
yep. And it's mostly starting with that summer program, so we'll have to make sure and put a week into that once July 4th. And think about Robert.
Right. It was a whole year of it being the 250th year, so it doesn't have to end on July 4th for sure.
I just want to get started.
That's
We're gonna
the,
get started, we have the birthday. Anything else? All right, so we have a report from the strategic planning committee.
We added the policy
Well, yeah, but
oh, I thought
this
that
one
was,
was already, it depends on where you wrote it in, you know.
I put it in the wrong spot. Forgive me.
Well, we can start. Let's use,
Yes.
the strategic planners want to speak.
Um, I'll share and then I'll call on Marissa as the second board member who is on the strategic planning committee. The committee members include interim director Phillips, myself, Marissa Barrientos Shepherd, Joan, Kelda, Josh. Am I missing anybody? Got it. We are looking at the best framework and format that will be understood, shared, understood by and shared with the public as well as library staff, as well as library admin team, volunteers, and board members. So at all levels of the community. We're looking at the 18-month strategic roadmap. We've identified some key pillars of what's going to go in there. This is your teaser. And the board will receive a draft of it with plenty of time for feedback before it's presented in a board study session later this year, probably in May. We're looking at adoption in June so that the plan can be adopted ahead of July 1, because that's when the 18-month timeframe starts. We're looking at something that may have been previewed in a slide in the presentation just now, and there's going to be a very strong strengthening the foundation theme, keeping the great direction, keeping the amazing work that's happening. Marissa, would you happen to have anything to add? And also other committee members in the room if you have additions.
No, I think you gave a good summary, just again, back to those basics, foundational work, communication, and focusing on our community. And yeah, look forward to more input.
Thank you.
You know, because it is an 18-month thing, maybe we can get some really solid measurables, whatever we do.
For every single strategy and action under it, we're seeing whether or not it can be a SMART goal, and what metrics can tell us that we're making progress in that direction.
Right.
Which I hope will continue in the 5-year plan as well. That's just a best practice. I feel confident that wherever we can find a meaningful measure, it will be built in.
Their questions?
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Marty. Thanks, Marissa.
The committee.
Thank you, committee. That's great start on that. Now, last week we had an executive session where we received the report from HR Answers, looking at the policies and procedures and the actions and the follow-up and the general swirl of activity around the incidents at the talent library where the patron was observed. Looking at pictures that there was some question about how inappropriate or appropriate they were. Anyway, the report came back with a number of recommendations related to policies and training and procedures, and we didn't actually take any action at the executive session, but we did sort of reach a consensus that we would have Kevin and Marta take this report and identify what pieces should go where in terms of further action. So they're looking at what has to go to the policy committee and what do you think? So, and Marta sent me some things that she wrote up. So,
yeah, this is just the talking points. So coming out of the meeting, we know what the initial steps after the board receiving the investigation report will be. So I have talking points. It's not a memo to file or anything. So the JCLD board, the legal counsel, and the interim director, we've had the chance to review the report produced by HR Answers. And that was a result of our request to perform an investigative inquiry into the circumstance and policies which impacted the town library incident in December of 2025. The next step will likely be that the board will refer a set of policies and guide and manual for revision to the policy committee that already exists. That committee includes Interim Director Phillips, 2 board members who will liaise as appropriate regarding the completion of this important work, and library admin staff. The board anticipates an addition of several additional policy committee meetings that may not be regularly scheduled, just to focus on this work to effectively address this request. And so we thank the committee for prioritizing this work in advance. And again, if additional board member involvement is required, we're happy to help as individual sets of eyes, not hitting quorum issues. Whereas the HR Answers produced investigation report includes references to several policies that were ultimately found to not have been violated, the board seeks to move forward with the strongest possible set of policies and guidelines to support our frontline and management staff in addressing reports and observations and several other aspects of our operations. And there is a subset of policies that at this point in time, in April of 2026, the board suggests get prioritized by the policy committee in review and possible updates. This list is not exhaustive, and the board may identify additional policies for subsequent focus, as could council, interim director, or eventually permanent director. But this is what we're starting in no particular order. JCLS Internet Acceptable Use Policy, the suspension guidelines, the person in charge manual, rules of conduct policy, JCLS customer service training, the incident report guide, and with the purpose of editing select sections for clarity, the employee handbook. Perhaps most policies will not see radical changes. We anticipate several edits for clarity on several sections of these policies, manual, and guide. So we are also, as board members, hereby committing to review and offer updates to our own JCLD board duties and responsibilities manual. So that's not going to go to the policy committee, but if they have insight and feedback, we will take it. We also may request that a board member joined by the interim director discuss possible edits to the public PC rule banner that is always displayed for computer station users with the appropriate staff contact if that's the direction we go. And so at the end of this meeting, we could make a motion directing staff to work with the policy committee to work on that. But if we make a motion, it could be too restrictive in case an update looks like just a clarification of a couple of sentences, or if another policy or guide is added to this list. So it's possible that at the end of this meeting, we just say, we will start with these items and we'll work in that direction with the policy committee. So I recommend we don't make a motion, but reach consensus.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
Thoughts, please.
Questions, comments?
I'll see the committee has some work to do.
They do, indeed.
Gonna get on it.
Who's on the policy committee from?
Kevin and I are the policy committee representatives from the board. So I think there's stuff to do.
Yeah, well, first part would be scheduling.
Right.
A deadline meeting, or in the next couple of, next week or two.
Well, we have a meeting coming up, what, the 20th? It's, anyway, we moved it from last week to the 27th.
You'll do that?
I don't
It's-
have it,
I have
but I think it was the
here somewhere.
on Monday. So,
Yeah, Monday the 27th,
Yeah.
at 4.
So, and we'll,
That's a policy committee meeting.
so we don't, it's not, this is just so we can get started and look at all the bits and pieces. Okay.
That said, if individual board members have feedback or feel particularly strongly about respective clarifications in the guidelines or the manual, just communicate it to our board liaisons. We're gonna follow the process, we're gonna adhere to the process, and the guide of how we work together, and we're gonna start there.
You want to talk about how this report is to be treated going forward? So far, it's been. No. No, okay.
I guess I don't have anything to add. I mean, I think.
Are we going to? Well, go ahead, you can.
My understanding is in the executive session, the report was delivered to the board and interim director, under attorney-client confidentiality because of the nature of the investigative reporting and, this update and this direction is how the board is communicating to the organization, our interpretation findings and taking direction from that report.
That's good.
Good summary. I just wanted to get it out there.
Yeah.
That we weren't necessarily going to publish this thing, but we do need to get all the substantive data out of it that we need to do our work. So, all right, anything else for the good of the order? We have achieved complete covered our agenda. We have future meetings at the bottom of the agenda page. Some of us will be in Portland next week. Then we're back and do budget stuff. So, all right. Thank you all. We stand adjourned.
35, not bad.